Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Joey. I did a video a couple days ago about a potential matchup between Nick Diaz and Khamzat Chimaev, and it got a lot of views, a lot of comments, and I wanted to make a follow-up video based on some of those discussions I had and who do I think Nick Diaz should potentially make his UFC return against, because some people were really interested in the Khamzat Chimaev fight. Some people thought Khamzat Chimaev would wreck him. Some people thought Nick Diaz would wreck Khamzat Chimaev, and Khamzat Chimaev didn't even deserve to fight Nick Diaz. I talked to a couple people through the comments, about maybe this guy, maybe that guy, but I wanted to make a follow-up video, basically, throwing out a couple names who I really think the UFC should actually match Nick Diaz up with if he does decide to return. First off, there was quite a few people that said somehow I was a Nick Diaz hater or a Diaz hater in general. I am not a Nick Diaz hater. I love Nick Diaz. I love Nate Diaz. I actually got this out. It was behind me. I got a little bit closer. I got the Nick Diaz autographed bobblehead right here. I'm a huge Nick Diaz fan. I would love to see him return if he is, 100% and ready to fight and not just returning for a potential paycheck. But we don't know, and we have to talk about those possibilities. But as far as some names of who I want to see Nick Diaz return against, at first I was throwing around names like Robbie Lawler. The Robbie Lawler rematch would make a lot of sense. These two fought each other very early on in their careers. It was an absolute crazy fight. Nick Diaz caught him with, I think it was a left hook, and it was a weird delayed reaction from Robbie Lawler and put him to sleep. Robbie Lawler is kind of on the downside of his career right now. He's got a couple losses in a row, and I just think if Nick wants to return after 6 long years of a layoff, Robbie Lawler would be a perfect fight because it would be a lot of fun, stylistically fun matchup. It would be a rematch. It's a fight that people have asked for years. People wanted Nick Diaz to get a title shot when Robbie Lawler had the title. So it's a fight a lot of people were interested in. But I've seen some people saying, is Nick really going to want to return to fight a guy who's who's barely in the top 15, has lost his last couple fights? And I kind of get that. The Khamzat Chimaev fight, I think would be fun, but at the same time, Khamzat, he's kind of unknown. Nick at this point is kind of unknown, and Nick's weakness also, and I think this got a lot of people riled up, is the grappling heavy fighters, and Khamzat Chimaev is a grappling heavy fighter. Now, would he be able to take Nick Diaz and hold him down? I don't know. That's what makes the fight compelling. But I got to thinking about it a little bit more, and I came up with 2 other matchups. I'll save the best for last. But I came up with 2 other matchups for Nick Diaz to potentially return against. The first is Mike Perry. Again, that would be a super fun fight. It would kind of ease Nick Diaz back into competition without absolutely throwing him to the wolves. Mike Perry is not a ranked fighter again, and he also on a losing streak, but I just think it would be a fun fight. But if you start looking at some of these other guys in the top, 10 right now, and you start thinking, who would I want to match him up with? Colby Covington's fighting Kamaru Usman next, according to Dana White. We'll see if that actually happens or not. Gilbert Burns is fighting Wonderboy Thompson. Leon Edwards is fighting Nate Diaz. Jorge Masvidal just lost to Kamaru Usman. Then you have Vicente Luque, Michael Chiesa, Damian Maia, Neil Magny, Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley is supposedly cut from the UFC. We haven't seen 100% confirmation on that yet, as far as I know. I think also, number 6, Vicente Luque would be a lot of fun. But if I know the Diaz brothers, they want a big fight upon return. Name value, high-ranked guy, but at least name value. So I think this fight would be a super fun fight, super fan-friendly fight, and I think this is the fight to make. I think the UFC needs to book Nick Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. And it all depends on timing because obviously Jorge Masvidal just got KO'd by Kamaru Usman. But Nick Diaz did, I referenced this in the previous video, Nick Diaz did that very bizarre interview with Ariel Helwani, but of all the things he said, he definitely did say he wanted to fight Jorge Masvidal. And you have that whole storyline there. Jorge Masvidal beat up his younger brother, Nate Diaz, obviously, back in 2019. And Nick Diaz, the big brother's coming to avenge the loss, And also, if you look at the stylistic matchup, I don't think it gets much more fun than that. You have the name value of Jorge Masvidal. Since Jorge Masvidal flying knee KO'd Ben Askren, his name value has gone through the roof. Then on top of that, you have the fact that Jorge Masvidal is ranked number 4, so he's a fairly highly ranked welterweight. Then on top of that, you have the fact Jorge Masvidal isn't coming out to try to take Nick Diaz down. That's a lot of people's game plan would be come out and take Nick Diaz down, hold him down. We've seen GSP do it. We've seen the wrestling, grappling heavy guys are literally the biggest weakness to the Diaz brothers. So I think that Jorge Masvidal fight would just be amazing because it would be both of them standing, trading back and forth. The fans would love it. I hope it wouldn't be a headliner for a pay-per-view, but it probably would be. I mean, Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz headlined at a pay-per-view. So my guess is with Nick's return, I guess a lot of people still know him. I love Nick Diaz, but I don't know how many people still know him. He hasn't fought in 6 years. He hasn't won a fight in 10 years. He has not won a fight since BJ Penn. And I know also somebody said, Carlos Condit Nick Diaz got robbed against Carlos Condit. That would be another fight I'd like to see again. A lot of people argue Carlos Condit, didn't deserve that win against Nick Diaz when they fought for the interim belt back in, I don't even know, 2012, 2013, something like that. Maybe even earlier. I don't remember. I wouldn't mind seeing them run it back. But again, Carlos Condit, he's not even in the rankings. And I think Nick Diaz is going to want a ranked opponent. And also, I really do think, and this is kind of sad, but I guess I understand it, if Nick Diaz comes out and fights anybody in the top 10 and gets a win, without a doubt getting a title shot, because the UFC is going to say, okay, this is going to make a lot of money. Kamaru Usman is going to say, this is going to make my check bigger, and this is a stylistically friendly matchup for me. I'm going to go out there and grapple him, take him down. He doesn't have a significant, huge power punches. He's more of a volume guy. But I think right now the biggest fight and the best fight and the most fan-friendly fight the UFC can make is Nick Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. I think that's just the fight to make right now. And I just seen before I got on here, apparently Jorge Masvidal said he's very open to the idea, but it would have to be later this year. So if Nick wants to wait until fall, winter time, I think Jorge Masvidal versus Nick Diaz will happen. And that will be an absolute crazy fight, back and forth fight. And it'll be interesting to see where Nick Diaz is at. If his head is 100% back in the MMA game and he's in shape, which he appears to be in pictures clearly, we can see if he can really compete. He's only 37 or 38, I think, right now. So he's not, he's not crazy old. I mean, Jan Blachowicz is the champion. He's 39 years old. We've seen what DC did at 40 years old. So let's see this fight. Give me Nick Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. Let me know what you guys think of this matchup. Comment down below. Am I crazy? Comment down below and let me know if I'm a Nick Diaz hater. I know some people are probably going to do that anyway. Make sure to like the video. Make sure you're subscribed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.